Welcome back once again. Today, I'm the processor guy. I have got a neat little piece of tech. It's really old, but it's still available. This is the Behringer V-Amp X V-Amp. What this is, Behringer put out the Behringer 1, which was a red model. Then they put out the V-Amp 1, which was red, shaped like a guitar. Then they put out the V-Amp 2, which was blue and shaped like a guitar. And the V-Amp 2 was actually the first one that I bought, the little tabletop model. I bought the tabletop model and bought a MIDI pedal and controlled it through MIDI, and it was awesome. I loved it. I wound up trading my V-Amp 2 in before I found out this was out. I probably would have bought this one first. I traded out my V-Amp 2 and bought the V-Amp Pro, which was the rack mount version. If I'd known this one, I missed this one somehow when it was released. I missed it. Neat little unit, man. Some really good stuff in here. It can be a little challenging to learn to program it, but it is worth it. It does have some pretty cool amp sims. It's got some decent effects in it, and it sounds really good. It's really simple to use. It's a little bit harder to program than it is to use, but not by much. Here are your selector switches here. This is down, this is up, and here's your expression pedal. Let me move that camera so you can see the expression pedal a little better. There's the expression pedal. This is only assignable. Most expression pedals on some of the more modern multi-effects processors will do two functions. When it's not pressed, it serves as a volume control. When it is pressed, you can assign it to do different things. You can turn a wah on or off. You can control the level of different effects and stuff. This one doesn't do that. This expression pedal has no effect until it's pressed, so it doesn't serve as a volume necessarily. All right, so we're going to go down and we're going to take a look at a few patches. I had to reset this to factory default when I first got it because it had a ton of stuff in it that I just didn't like. But the factory presets are actually pretty good. I've created, I think, the first four. I've taken the first 4 or 5 and done my own thing with them. This one was a real simple one. I just wanted a simple clean patch. And if we look down here at the lights, we'll see that there's your patch number. And then the lights are turned on, tell you which effects you're actually using, right? This up here tells you which amp sim you're using. I'm using you see classic clean. What you can't see is that there's gray lettering beneath each of the white, each item with white legend. There's gray legend below it. And what that does is allows twice as many amp sims in here, okay, in here. And then twice as many effects over here. So, and you can access that simply by, you see this little tap button. It also, right below it, says second function. And what that means is if you press this and then move this, you'll get the gray legend over here. If you don't press and you just spin, you'll get the white legend. Like Classic Clean, I've got it set to a Classic Clean, which is Roland JC120. There are actually some really good amp sims in here. I was really impressed. If I'd known this one came out, I probably might not have bought my V-Amp Pro. This isn't really, I mean, it's stage ready, but it's not roadworthy, not by any stretch of the imagination. It's good for the odd gig here and there or to go practice. This is. It's better for, as a direct out to your recording software, to your submixer or whatever. That works pretty well. And it took me, I don't know, 3 or 4 days before I finally figured out how to program effectively. The original V-Amp wasn't that tough, so it wasn't that hard to do. This one took a little bit more time, but once I figured it out, once I figured out the pattern, there's a little process you got to use. Like, for instance, this one I wanted to set up a clean patch. This patch right here, this 0. I wanted to set up a nice clean patch I wanted some compressor. I wanted that hard compression, that hard attack compression. That rapid attack compression, but I also wanted to put some chorus on it. I put a little bit of delay and a little bit of reverb, and that's what these buttons over here are doing. these buttons right here, that tells you what effects you have on right there. I've got the noise gate off because it's a clean patch. I generally don't use a noise gate with clean patches. Compressor, modulation, delay, and reverb. Now, and you'll see here, right, there's another legend right here. Let me not use my big fat finger. Right there, it says pedal. Now, if you press both of these at the same time, you can assign what this pedal is going to be used for when it's pressed, okay? If you press these two together, you'll get access to a presence control like you would on a regular amp, right? It's going to bring the brightness up a little bit. It's going to kind of pull the lows down just a little. Then another double button press, you get the bass EQ. You can pull that up or down the way you want it. And then with a double button press here, you can go to configure mode. This allows you to use the output of the, there's a mono out and a headphone out. This allows you to like turn off the amp sims if you just want to hear the effects, or it allows you to turn off the effects if you just want to use the amp sims. So you can actually use this in combination, believe it or not, with a second processor, right? If your second processor has better effects, mine does. I have a Boss ME80. That's my, well, actually the Boss is my first. This is going to wind up being my second. I am going to use this to record with because it does have some pretty cool amp sims in it. It's got what I consider to be one of and remember, right now, this thing's less than $100. So this is fairly cheap. And it's got, for a low-line multi-effects processor, it's got one of the best JTM 45 sims, the Plexi, that I've heard up to this point. Not even my Boss does as good as this one does. And we're going to cycle through a couple of patches that I've made to show you the different things that you can do. Now, again, these are our access points for patches. This is down, this is up. We're going to go up. That was a clean patch. Pretty good. Now this is a plexi tone here. But I don't have a lot going on. I've got this button over here. This serves two functions. This is gain control and volume control. Gain is in white and volume is in gray. If you want to turn the volume of this patch up, what you do is you hit the tap or the second function button and you do this. You just spin until the volume's as loud as you want it, right? And there it is right there, okay? Now when I turn it off, or when I let go of that tap button, that second control function, that second function, and I spin it, I turn the gain down. There's that classic 70s style, guitar. That's pretty good. Doesn't have any of the unpleasantness that some of the modern amp distortion had. It's not harsh. It's really warm. It's got a nice, it's got good reaction too to pick attack. The more pick you give it, the more, gain you're going to get out of it. Pretty good, right? That's the Plexi. I set that one up myself because I was impressed with the way the Plexi sounded. This is more of a metal tone. right? I set that one up myself. I put together, I changed the first 5 patches on my own. Here's another patch with the Plexi. Now, I set this up with my Les Paul because I was kind of looking for sort of a Stevie Ray Vaughan-esque kind of tone, right? And I tried it with my Ibanez at first, and it sounded good, but it didn't sound great. So I picked up my Les Paul and then made a few little minor modifications, and boy, did it really wake that up. That is so nice. Now that's pretty good. I'm doing this with my Ibanez, and it still sounds pretty good. We turn the bridge pickup on, and you'll hear a little bit more definition. Pretty nice, right? Let me see. I think it's another metal patch. Yeah. Well, rectified high gain, what this does is kind of simulates Eddie's Brown sound, right? It's that JTM 45 with the voltage regulator on it, and it's okay. It's not truly that Brown sound, but it's pretty good. Good, man. I like this little doohickey here. This little box is really pretty cool. Now that's again with the that's with the actually that's with the tweed combo, and that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? It's got a sort of a laid back, bassy sort of Fender tone to it. Pretty nice, right? Pretty cool. This is with the Fender Bassman, which is not bad. You can hear that low end that it's got. That distorts so nicely. As I said, it's a little challenging at first trying to figure out exactly how to program something you want. But like again, once you get it figured out, it's a snap, right? I'm going to show you how easy it is to actually create a patch, and we'll go through it piece by piece. Let's choose an amp first. Let's pick a distorted sound. Let's go with the JCM 800 Brit high gain right there, right? Now we're going to pull our gain all the way up, okay? And then we'll go here and we'll turn the volume all the way up too, and we'll make sure that that's turned up. Okay. Now we need to figure out what we want on it. This is what's already on it, modulation and reverb. I'm going to turn the modulation off. The way you access that patch is to turn this, is do a long press on this, and then you can spin it all the way back to 0, right? That turns it off pretty much. So you don't have anything selected. Okay, another long press takes you out of modulation. Now we'll go into reverb, and we'll take a look at reverb. Again, long press. Then up here, this tells you, which shows you which reverb you want, right? There's your basic analog. There's spring, cathedral, ambience. And it's 4 selections. You get 4 reverbs. It's not as good as some other pedals, but still, I mean, they're pretty good. We'll go to Cathedral real quick. And let me turn this on. And we'll see how it sounds. Pretty big sound right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this button and we're going to turn the overall volume of the reverb, or the volume of the effect. Here's off. A little much. Pretty good though, right there. Now, you hear the low end on that? A lot of low end right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here. We're going to do a double press here. We're going to press both buttons at the same time. It's going to bring up the bass EQ. And then it's adjustable from over here. So here we go. We're going to bring up the bass EQ. See where it is. Oh, wait. We got to back out of reverb first. Long press on reverb pulls us out. Now we're going to take a look at bass EQ and then presence. So we're going to do a double press here. Both buttons, we're going to double press. See, there's our bass EQ right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull that back just a little bit. And then listen. That's a little bit better right there. Right? The bass, we had to bring the bass EQ down now. To get out of bass EQ, again, double press both. Now we're back in the patch itself. Now we're going to go to presence. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the presence up, so we'll have a little bit more high end. Double press there. There's our presence control right there. It's up kind of high already. Let's bring it up 1 notch and we'll see what happens. There we go. All right, let's pull the presence down. You'll hear the difference. Let's bring it back up and hear the original signal. Pretty good, man. Neat little piece of tech. You know what? If you want a spare one, right? I generally have, I'm the processor guy though, so I got lots of processors. I've got 3 guitar processors and a bass processor. I've also got a Spider, a Line 6 Spider V30. So, I'm into effects. I've got tons of effects. If something doesn't sound right on a processor, I've got something somewhere else I can go. If I can't find a good amp sim on the Boss, I'll come here. If I can't find good effects like choruses or whatever, or detune, I'll go to the Boss. I like to have a lot of options as far as getting just the right sound. You guys know, man, there's a sound in your head, and you're not happy until you get that sound, period. So this gives me a lot of options. I strongly recommend that you try one of these. They're not terribly expensive, and they're not that difficult to use. So this is a good little box right here. I've been a big Behringer fan since my V-Amp Pro days. Big Behringer fan, and I started buying different Behringer equipment when I was building my home studio, speakers and all kinds of other stuff. But here, we'll take this. We'll hit this again. We'll see a double press. 2 buttons accesses these right here. We can assign the pedal if we want. that's fairly easy too. Same thing, double press. Then what you do is you tell the device which effect or how you want to use the pedal. So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to do this. Oh, wait, hold on. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I want to use the gain control. Oh, it didn't do it, did it? No, maybe not. No, you see it's set for wah. So it didn't do really what I wanted it to do. Let me pull this over here. Let's see what it did do. It's kind of hard to access that switch underneath here without a hard, foot press on it. So kind of hard to demonstrate that. So I'm not really gonna. Sorry about that. But just know that you can assign this expression pedal. You can assign that pedal to do different things besides just a wah. Okay, and it does the wahs. I mean, it's okay. It's not a crybaby. There are a lot of wahs that are not crybabies. So, but it's fairly good. You know what I mean? This is a good little unit. It's inexpensive. It's real easy to use. It may take you a few days to figure out how to get your own patches done, but it's real easy to use. Once you're done, up, down. This is all you got to do right here. Right here, let me pull this back. There we go. Up and down. All you got to do. That's what these buttons do for you right there. Easy. Very, very easy to use. I strongly recommend it if you've got the opportunity. If you got a little bit extra cash, go ahead and get one. Okay, you don't need any fancy cables. Make sure that you get the power supply for it. You may find them online for sale, but you got to make sure that it comes with a power supply. So other than that, this is a good little unit. I really recommend this. I do. It's not as good as my Boss is, my ME80, but it's a decent little pedal to have as a counterpoint when you can't find the right sound. It's nice to be able to go somewhere else and get it. And this does it for me right here. This one works pretty good. All right. All right. Peace, kids. Y'all be good.